What's up, fight fans? Welcome back to Miguelito To Toe, where we break down boxing with real passion. No filter, no fluff. Today we're talking about a fighter who's starting to make a lot of noise in the super featherweight division. And if you haven't been watching him yet, it might already be too late. I'm talking about Eduardo Sugar Nunez, a name that sounds smooth, but what he brings inside that ring is anything but sweet. Who is Eduardo Sugar Nunez? Let's set the stage first, because Nunez is still building his name globally, but the danger level is already very real. He's from Mexico, fighting out of that deep tradition of warriors who don't just win fights, they take your will away in the process. He competes at 130 pounds, super featherweight, and on paper, he's just another contender climbing the ranks. But once the bell rings, you see why people are paying attention. Mexico doesn't just produce fighters, it produces pressure fighters, and Nunez fits that mold perfectly. He fights at super featherweight, a division full of speed, skill, and technical boxers. But he brings power that disrupts that balance. He's an orthodox fighter, but he doesn't fight like a textbook boxer. He fights like someone looking to hurt you. The biggest headline: his knockout ratio is frighteningly high, meaning once he gets you hurt, he usually finishes the job. And that right there is what separates prospects from problems. Nunez is starting to look like a problem. When you break down Nunez in the ring, you don't see hesitation, you see intent. This is not a fighter who's trying to win rounds on points and move on quietly. This is a fighter trying to break you down piece by piece until you fold. He applies steady pressure, not reckless but consistent. Forward movement that forces mistakes. The bodywork is key. He digs downstairs early to slow opponents before going upstairs. Once he sees damage, he doesn't reset, he escalates. His timing is what makes him dangerous. He doesn't just throw power, he waits for openings and detonates. It's that classic Mexican pressure style, but with patience. Think aggression with calculation. That's where the danger comes in. A lot of punchers rely on volume. Nunez feels more like a finisher, someone who studies your reactions, then ends the conversation when he finds the opening. Now let's talk trajectory, because this is where things start to get interesting. Nunez isn't just knocking people out, he's doing it on platforms that matter. He's been featured on major cards, including matchroom boxing events, which means the spotlight is only getting brighter. He's building momentum with consistent stoppage wins. Each fight is adding to his reputation as a high risk, high reward opponent. Exposure under matchroom means he's now on the radar of international matchmakers. The super featherweight division is deep, but he's pushing himself towards that top tier conversation. And once you get into that conversation, you start hearing names like Joe Cordina or Shaquille Foster, Lamont Roach Jr., that championship level territory. But here's the real question: are they ready for someone who isn't coming to outpoint them, but to take them out? This is where Nunez's career gets interesting, because power gets attention, but it also gets tested. He's inching closer to eliminators or high ranked opposition. The division is stacked with technical champions, meaning styles will matter more than ever. The big question is whether his pressure style holds up against elite defense and experience. If he keeps winning like this, a world title shot won't be a question of if, but when. This is the stage where punchers either evolve into champions or get figured out. But right now, Nunez looks like he belongs in the first category. So remember the name Eduardo Sugar Nunez, because right now he's not just winning fights, he's changing how people have to approach him. And in boxing, that's where real respect starts. From Miguelito To Toe, we break down skill, violence, strategy, and heart. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And tell me this: who should Nunez step in with next to prove he's the real deal?